and happy Monday. And so this public hearing is called to order at 6:33 p.m. on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 1625 Ocean Avenue. And so the purpose of this hearing is to hear public testimony with respect to community member recommendations for the city's fiscal year 2027 capital and expense budgets. So the community board solicited recommendations, I made that word up, at the June meeting, and CB14 newsletters, and on the CB14 website. So if you would like to comment on the board's budget priorities, please raise your hand, and when called upon, state for the record your name, and if you are a CB14 resident or with a community organization, prior to giving testimony. So the first speaker will be Sean Campbell, District Manager.
Hello, good evening. Many of you know, some of you know, that the way we began to gather community input for budget priorities was through a survey. And this year I'm excited to say we had 73 community members participate in the survey. That input will inform the budget priorities. And next month at the public hearing we will discuss those priorities in greater detail. In the meantime, Brooklyn district managers will be meeting with, I think, 18 city agencies to have budget consultations. But this input aligns with the budget priorities that Department of City Planning puts in their drop-down menus for us to choose from to prioritize our community needs and related budget priorities. So I'm just going to go through really quickly the highlights that are within the categories that is provided through the district needs statement. And I suspect board members have all taken a look at the district needs statement on the website. And I would encourage community members to do it as well because it's data rich, it's informed by the work that we do on a daily basis, and it has a lot of fun facts about the district. Maybe someday we'll play Word 14. In the category of healthcare and human services, the item services for individuals experiencing homelessness and services to reduce evictions were by far the top two. In youth education and child welfare, way out ahead was immigrant youth and family programs, and then behind that were sort of like three ties for second place: after-school programs, school amenities, and early childhood programs. In the arena of public safety and emergency services, way out ahead is, and I have my own appreciation for this, is funding for nonprofit organizations that are the violence disruptor and cure violence organizers. I think that attests to a lot of the great work that they've been doing in our community already. And then slightly behind that is funding for nonprofit organizations, funding for increased enforcement and increasing FDNY and EMS headcount. I was a little surprised. NYPD personnel headcount wasn't as high as I expected to be, especially since our survey gives the prompt including crossing guards. And we get so many requests for crossing guards. So we'll take a look into why that was lower than expected. It's just, there's also just so many choices. In our fourth category, core infrastructure, city services, and resiliency. You will not be surprised to hear that. Street cleaning, cleanliness, sanitation collection was way up high. Water, sewer, and environment, including flood protection, was a little bit ahead of that. But those were by far the top choices in the category that included increased catch basin cleaning, canine waste education, frequency of litter basket collection. There's a pretty big number supporting installing rain garden bioswales, too, going along with the flooding concerns. In the category of housing, economic development, and land use, increase the inventory of affordable housing, and the emphasis there was on affordable housing. And then slightly behind that was increased public open space, because yes. And then also include Newkirk Plaza in the DOT Pedestrian Plaza program. It's sort of gratifying to see that get so much support because we've been doing a lot of work trying to get that done. And so public support and maybe urging your elected officials to urge MTA to push it along would be helpful as well. And then finally, in our transportation category, the number one, by quite a lot, was repair and upgrade subway stations, and then behind that just slightly is improve mass transit, the mass transit rider experience, and then slightly behind that was traffic calming, safety, and roadway maintenance. So the transit, the MTA transit, kind of was out further ahead than the DOT request, but we will we'll speak to both agencies, both in the budget consultations and through our district needs statement. So if there are any further requests that anybody wants to put on the record this evening as part of this public hearing, that's the part where the chair said raise your hand and speak your mind. Otherwise, this is going to feed into the items, and the items will be available before the October hearing. Thanks.
Thank you very much for that, District Manager Campbell. So yes, two things. So the first thing is, are there any additional recommendations from board members? Yes.
Yeah, I don't know that there's an ordinance for that. And the canine waste is a request for education. So, and enforcement is really hard. But you reminded me of something, which is that in addition to this process, we might even hear from elected officials' offices tonight. In addition to this process, because this is what I thought you were going to say, is the participatory budgeting, and through the city council offices, you can make requests for capital projects through participatory budgeting. The citywide participatory budgeting is expense, but for capital projects like a running track around the parade ground, because things like that, pay attention to that PB budgeting stuff. We don't interact with it a lot as a community board, but it's out there. We've got count them five city council members overlapping with our district. So call the office if you're interested in maybe participating in participatory budgeting. That was a sentence, and we'll help navigate through that for very specific capital requests.
Thank you for that. And so are there any additional board members with any potential additional recommendations regarding the capital and expense budget for fiscal year 27? And so if there aren't any more.
I think there is.
Oh, there is?
Oh, I'm a community member and I just voted, so I missed.
Okay.
Did you have a request for a budget item that you were?
Well, I think my request was not more for the budget item, and I know that sometimes the budget is very forth from the community board itself and for consideration from these public agencies, and you guys try and advocate for these services. But looking over the fiscal years, over the years, I've seen that community board 14, we've made several requests over the years for repairs to, I wrote a whole thing, sorry. We made several requests over the years for like more green spaces, right? And I'm a new mom. I have several disabilities. I've lived in this community for almost 10 years. I'm also an immigrant. And I'm very involved with the parents in the community, especially with young children. And one of the things that's come up on several occasions is, what are we doing, especially for the parkers in Flatbush? Like Midwood here, we have the park over here. You go to Far East Flatbush, you got the parks over there, and then you have the parade grounds. But the city has an agenda to meet by 2030 a quarter-mile radius to an open green park space, and we don't meet that. We rank in the last 1% out of all.
We're aware, yeah. And I would encourage you to review the district needs statement on that, and appreciate having more advocacy from the community.
Yeah, so my request is this, right? We put these lists in every year, right? Is there any way that we as the community board engaging with the community members, like this public hearing is a platform, of course, right? But is there any way
Right, heard. And so in addition to community advocacy and making sure you're plugged into the offices of elected officials who have funding, we are also advocating for the Department of Parks and Recreation to have its own capital budget so that parks can be done on a priority basis rather than by the sort of vagaries of which city council member has funding for them. So heard, and I'd like to talk to you even more offline and we can talk about other ways of going about it, so thank you.
I have a whole lot of things.
That's okay. You don't need to apologize. Thank you for sharing.
I didn't state your name or anything for the
Ah, shoot. And ma'am, excuse me, could you state your name for the record, please?
Oh, I'm Carmen Naidu.
Thank you for, nice to meet you.
signed in, correct?
Yes,
Thank you.
So I'd love to speak to you guys.
Excellent. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing. And so I saw Melissa's hand up and then also Nina's. So I'll go Melissa, then Nina. Yeah.
Sure. I was just going to suggest maybe
Okay.
continuation of this offline, but as chair of the Housing and Land Use Committee, this could be something that maybe gets roped into all of that.
Yes.
Like the part of the parks and whatnot.
Got you. Okay, thank you for that. And Nina?
I think that also community and environment ought to be, we can join forces because more voices works better than, a few. What I was going to ask, and I'm not, I may be totally in the wrong place for making this request, but it was something that I brought up when we had our Prospect Park event, and I mentioned it to a couple of our city council reps, or their reps that were there, and that I know that there was a whole thing that it was, I may be wrong whether it was Rita Joseph or not, but somebody got funding for Kings County for an MRI machine. Kingsbrook Hospital has been in desperate need for a new mammogram machine, and I don't know where that comes in terms of requests for funding, but we can make that known somehow.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I
Figure out the answer to that, but I'll get back to you.
So last call for any additional requests from board members? Yes.
Just could we, more tree pruning. I know we need more tree pruners. Tree limbs are coming down all over. There's several within 3 blocks of me that had fallen in the last 2 months. I know we talk about this a lot, but we need more tree pruners and pruning.
Also heard, and also a part of our conversation citywide, at least borough-wide. And one of the things that we want to talk about when we approach parks with this is to approach it as an investment, because there's a great old audit on for every dollar invested in pruning, there's that many dollars saved in claims. So we want to talk about that with parks too. For every inch of green space, it's not inches, but let's just pretend. For every inch of green space, there's X dollars saved in healthcare. So I really want to start changing. It's like a little bit of a paradigm shift in talking about these not as expenses, but as investments in the city and in this community. So thanks very much.
Okay. So thank you very much for that. So that was the last call. Sorry about that. That was the last call for this public hearing on the sales fiscal year 2027 capital expense budgets. And so just to be clear, that was the last part of this public hearing. But for continuing comments and stuff, don't hesitate to contact the district office. Okay, so that's what I'm letting folks know, right? So like, for example, the district manager said she'd love to touch base to you offline. She's serious about that. And so the comments and the things and the concerns that you have, yes, continue to reach us and let's keep that dialogue open, okay? And so I'm gonna do this just to say that at 6:48 p.m. that public hearing ends, and so boom, we're right on to the next one. And so at 6, I'm working out, that's what I'm doing, right? And so this public hearing is called to order on September 8th, 2025 at 6:49 p.m. at East Midwood Jewish Center, 1625 Ocean Avenue on Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, the purpose of this hearing is to hear public testimony with respect to an application for a sidewalk cafe on their DOT's Dining Out NYC program. The applicant is Burnt Toast Incorporated, doing business as La Puerta Roja, located at 1120 Cortelli Road. So is the applicant represented by individuals? Okay, sir, could you state your name for the record, please? Excellent. And so, Mr. Ortiz, and so let me just read the script, and then I would like to have you speak on the podium right there, please. And so basically, the applicant is represented here today by George Ortiz. And so the Community Board 14 office received notification on August 18th, 2025, and the Department of Transportation allows 40 days should the board wish to express an opinion to the department. And so if members of the public wish to testify, register for time by signing up at the back table with Sarah or Patricia. And please state clearly for the record your name, whether you are a Community District 14 resident or the organization you represent. So the first speaker will be Mr. Ortiz.
Hi. We've been in the community for over 10 years now, and during COVID, we built these sheds and stuff, and we were forced to take them down, and it has affected our business tremendously. Our sales are probably down 30% since. So we applied for 17 feet on Cortelli Road, and we were denied because I think there's a rule that states you could only use 50% of the sidewalk, so they chopped that down to, I think, 14.5 feet. It's actually 29 feet, the sidewalk. So I think DOT was good with that. And in addition to that, we applied for a small piece on Westminster. I think it's like 4.5 or 5 feet. It's a small area. And the reason that side is important to us because we're on the corner, and all depends when the wind is shifting or if it's light rain, we get affected with the wind, like greatly. Umbrellas flying all over the place and stuff. So even if it's windy, if it's raining, we can use either or, the side. So, it's really important to us in survival for our restaurant, you know what I mean? That area, that additional area. So that's basically what, we're applying for. Yeah.
Got you. So thank you very much for sharing that, Mr. Ortiz. And so let me open this up to board members. Do board members have any questions for Mr. Ortiz regarding that application? So I see Kirsty, and then I see Barton. So you're up. Yep.
Hi. How are you?
How are you?
This doesn't affect the application, but I was curious, how many tables are indoors?
So indoors, we sit approximately like 40 people on the inside, including the bar stools. So it's funny what's happened since COVID is people became more accustomed sitting outside. So they don't want to sit inside it. You know what I mean? So if we don't have outdoor seating, they walk away. They go somewhere else where there is outdoor. It's not always the case, but we've lost quite a few customers because of that. You know what I mean? Especially on the weekends when it tends to be busier and the weather's nice. We really need those extra tables, with the cost of food and the inflation. We're working on like this much profit margin, and a few tables goes a long way for us. It makes the difference of being able to pay the rent at the end of the month or not. You know what I mean? So it's hoping we're going to get approved because it really would affect us if we didn't get approved for that additional seating. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And so Barton, you're up.
They presented during the summer, right?
Yes, they did.
You weren't asking for the Westminster side, right?
No.
And I remember there were concerns in the meeting that it seemed like an awfully narrow strip. And the discussion was, I recall that it was mainly their staff who would, park there periodically. It wasn't actually they were actively using that as the area.
Correct.
Okay, you remember all that too?
Yes.
Okay, good. But, so, like I said, I thought I heard significant concern, and you all had said, you realize that you're not going to be able to put anything there unless you modify the application. So, I can't remember, was there a large community presence at that meeting?
For that one, that was a committee of the whole meeting, and so I don't, outside of the board members who were there, I don't remember there being a large public presence.
Okay, so basically we're all the same people here for the most part to comment on it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Kasha?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I have a personal opinion and then a statement. The personal opinion is I personally like outdoor dining and advocate for that. You might want to proactively look into your investments right now on any corner properties because the city council bill 2038, which is a universal daylight,
Yeah, so we're not applying for any type of structure. All we're applying is for a few tables and chairs, 2 umbrellas. So there's nothing that's going to be fixed or built or anything like that. It's just tables and chairs which are removed, at the end of the night. Sidewalk, yeah. No, nothing on the roadway. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. And so I see a couple of hands, and so I'll do Elizabeth Denise, and then I'll do Nina, and then Rogine.
I noticed on the Westminster Road side that there's 8 feet clear path in front of the 5.5 feet of dining space.
That's correct.
I was just curious if you knew the full width of that sidewalk, because there's also whatever's blocked there, that is not the clear path part, and what's that part of the sidewalk?
So, I'm sorry, your question is if, yeah, yes, sir.
I was just curious, what's this width, the overall full width, or either that one?
Oh, so, DOT requires 8-foot clear path,
Right.
and then we do have an 8-foot
Okay.
clear path. That's a Verizon telephone box.
Great.
Yeah, so we do have a clear path, so DOT was good with it, just gotta get through the community, get the approval.
And so I believe I also have Rogine. Oh, shoot, sorry. I forgot Nina, then Rogine, my bad. Yep.
Just very quickly, I just wanted to respond regarding daylighting. Daylighting applies to vehicles being parked at corners and within a certain distance. It does not apply to sidewalks.
Right, I think they cleared that up.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. So, Rogine?
Hi, I know that the plan that you shared with the community board is different than the previous structure. You said before it was more of a structure, and now it's more seating with a low fence. I wonder if you could comment on the footprint. I did see the plan, but I didn't see the other one as a frame of reference. Is the new footprint specifically how far your new fence will be on the Portelli side goes out to the sidewalk compared to how far the red wood structure went out before?
No, we used to go out 17 feet. And they says we could only use 50% on certain sidewalks that are over, I'm not sure, X amount of feet. So they told us we had to narrow it down to 14 and a half feet, which we did, which is half of the width of the sidewalk. So when you turn the corner, there is a line on the whole building that protrudes about 4 to 5 feet, gates and basement entrances and stuff. So we're going to stay within that line. We're not coming out past that line. So if you're walking down the block, let's say from, I think it's Dorchester, and you're walking down the street, it's all fences and gates, we fall within that line. We're not coming more onto the sidewalk than that line. So people won't have to walk around us. It's like a straight path. That's why we kept it so narrow, and we turned our tables the other way so it doesn't protrude into the actual traffic space. Yeah.
If my math is right, it's about 3.5 feet less on the Portelli side that the new plan, the outward part will be than it.
I believe it's 2.5 feet less. I think we originally applied for 17 feet, and that was rejected. So I think we had to go maximum 50% of 29 feet, which I believe is 14 and a half feet. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so I see Lisa. Yep.
Yes, one question about the Westminster side.
Yes.
The 8-foot clearance that you have from the chair,
No, that's with the chair. That's the 2 tables, the 2 chairs and the table extended, right, with somebody actually sitting there. Yes.
All right, so I see Nikki, and then I also have a question as well.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
So I have an opinion and a question.
Yes.
I think the first is just as a community member, we've had for all sorts of reasons, we've had a lot of long-running restaurants go out of business recently in the neighborhood, which has been really sad. So I think I've gone to a restaurant.
That's what we're trying to avoid.
No, exactly right. So
Yeah.
anything that we can do to help you be a sustainable business.
Yes.
For the neighborhood, that would be a good thing. I don't want to see another restaurant go out of business, especially a nice one.
Thank you. Yeah.
My question is around noise, right? Are there any concerns, do you have a lot of complaints? What do you do to manage noise from that outdoor seating?
I think if you look at our record, I might be wrong, I might be aware, in 10 years that we've been in business, I don't think we've had one complaint from building departments. I've never got a citation from the police department. We're active members of Corma, and we participate with the Merchants Association, and we're active. They have meetings at our place, so we follow the rules. We never had any problems with anybody, that I know of. I might be wrong, but that I'm aware of. Yeah.
So thank you for that. So that ties in directly to my next thing. And so the first thing is some information that we have received from the 70th precinct, and then after that, the other thing is I do have a letter of support, and so I'll read that into the record. But first, what I would like to share with you, Mr. Ortiz, is so we had asked the 70th precinct for information. We do that for all the establishments, and what they shared with us was from January 1st to August 19th of this year, they have 4 311 calls, and then they also have 5 911 calls associated with the establishment. And then, so the question I have for you, so do you know if there's anyone on your team who could give more, like they're not here right now, but do you have anyone on your team who could give us some insight into where those calls resolved?
I know where those calls came in from. So a new tenant moved in above the store. And ever since they moved in, it's been nothing but a nightmare. She started calling the police because for noise, talking about 11:30 in the morning. This restaurant is hardly ever open past 10 p.m. at night. We're an early restaurant. On the weekends, we might go to 11:30. So the problem here was that we have built-in speakers in ours. Well, we had built-in speakers in the establishment, and I think her bedroom was over one of those speakers. So we tried to resolve the issue. We did not ever go past the time. So I spoke to the lady's daughter. Her name is Eloise, and her husband, in retaliation for I don't know what, was actually blasting rock music when we had seating on the outside. And the police came maybe 3 or 4 times, and we explained to them the music is not coming from our establishment. It's coming from the 3rd floor. And the police have walked up there, let them into the building, knocked on the door. The noise was so loud, they couldn't go inside and talk to the tenant of the apartment. Since then, what I've done for the inside noise, I sealed off the ceiling-mounted speakers, and I put surface-mounted speakers. Until today, we did that about 2 months ago. A month and a half ago, we haven't received any complaints from the tenant. But that's where all those complaints are coming from. The tenant prior to her was there the whole time that we've been in business and never had one complaint.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And then the other thing that I'd like to do as well, too, is I do have a letter of support from the Cortelli Road Merchants Association. And so basically what it says is, dear members of the community board, on behalf of the Cortelli Road Merchants Association, I am pleased to express our strong support for Burnt Toast Incorporated, DBA La Puerta Roja, located at 1120 Cortelli Road, Brooklyn, with respect to their Dining Out NYC application, granting sidewalk seating for La Puerta Roja. And so I'm not going to read the whole thing verbatim, but some of the key points are they say that La Puerta Roja is an integral part of the Cortelli Road business community, offering exceptional food and serving as a gathering place for residents and visitors alike. They also say, moreover, sidewalk seating will promote a livelier and welcoming streetscape, fostering community engagement and supporting local merchants. And they end with, we respectfully urge the community board to approve La Puerta Roja sidewalk seating application, confident that it will bring positive benefits to our neighborhood, its residents, and its vibrant small business community. And this letter was provided and signed by Dina, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, Dina Rabiner, the president of the, okay, great, I got it right, excellent, the Cortelli Road Merchants Association. And so, are there, yes, give me
I have
some.
one question.
Yeah. Last thing, and then enough time for motion.
Okay, in regards to what we're gonna vote on today,
Yes.
does it include the side on Westminster? Is that
Board
thing?
members can make conditions.
Because the last time your daughter was here?
Yes, Natalie was here.
We spoke to her about having the tables on the side of Westminster Road, and I live around on the next block on Argyle.
Argyle.
And every time I go past there, I go by there daily, I see that the tables are out there on the side, and it's not just, because she said that it was because the workers were having conversation and they just put it to the side to be there. But I've seen guests sit there. So I don't know if I could okay this because she's telling us one thing, but then we're seeing other.
So we store some chairs there, but to be honest with you, when it gets busy, we do sit people there. And, you know, on all honesty, we do, and that's the reason that we're requesting the space, because it is needed, you know, for this restaurant to survive. So, you know, my daughter stated correctly, normally it's just used to put the extra chairs because we store everything inside the restaurant, but once we're open for business, we have nowhere to put the chairs or tables, the extra ones.
Yeah,
So,
but we had asked that they not do that anymore. And after that, I've gone by several times and saw them serving customers on the side of the Westminster side.
oh, okay, I wasn't here for that meeting. I wasn't aware of that. So I apologize for that, but, you know, like I says, it's a critical space for us for survival of the restaurant. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And so, given that, you know, we have had testimony from Mr. Ortiz, thank you, and then also board members, it's time for a motion, and so I'm trying to think, what's the best way for me to do this? Yes, Board Member Denise?
Oh, I was going to put a motion to approve the application as is filed.
Okay. And so I have a motion on the floor to approve the recommendation as filed. Do I have a second? Okay. And so all those in favor of approving the recommendation as filed?
Hold them up for a minute, please.
Okay. Any board members opposed? I have 3 hands. Okay. Any up 4 so far. Any abstentions? Actually, any board members ineligible? Okay. So that motion carries. And so that concludes our public hearing for La Puerta Roja at 7:07 p.m.
Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Ortiz, thank you, and so
Thank
you
you,
could
gentlemen.
return to your seat. Thank you. No problems. All right, so let me go here. Let me go right into this. So, all right, sweet. So there's like 3 hammers, so I gotta differentiate them, right? So this meeting of Brooklyn Community Board 14 is called to order on Monday, September 8th, 2025 at 7:08 p.m. under the applicable statutes of New York State, the Charter of New York City, the board's bylaws, and Robert's Rules of Order. So the board's policy is to encourage detailed public discussion of matters before the board at our committee meetings and at public hearings. Consequently, except by board members, there will be no public discussion at our regular monthly meeting of matters about which a public hearing or committee meeting has been held. Specific service delivery requests or complaints should be brought to the attention of the district's office staff by calling the board office during regular business hours or by visiting our website anytime. Other matters of civic interest may be brought before the board during our scheduled public comment period, which will begin tonight after all other business on the board's monthly meeting agenda has been concluded. So please, no partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises will be heard. Persons wishing to speak during the public comment period were asked to pre-register. So unfortunately, our secretary could not make it here today. Yeah, where's this? Bless you.
Well, now we know how talented they are that they can open this. Thanks.
Give me.
Got you. So will the second vice chair please call the roll? Check, check. That one works. Excellent.
Please forgive me in advance for if I butcher your name. So, we're starting with Ahmad. Okay.
Yeah.
Present. Mwaki. Okay, okay. Carissa Ahmed. Alfonso. Not here, right? Hendy Bendel. Gregory Alvarez. Benjamin. Okay, sorry. This is horrible. Davina. Okay, sorry. Christopher Brunson.
Absent.
Carl Henry Cesar.
Here.
Florencia Chang.
Clearly.
Not here. Yvette Claire Jean.
Here.
Elizabeth Denny's.
Present.
Lisa Derrick. She's here. Joseph DeWitt. Rogine Ford.
Here.
Jarrell Gray. Susan Hargett. Ian Haynes. Oh, Musa Hassim. Sorry. Mordecai Hugaski. I know him. He's this. Kashif.
I know him. He's here.
I know him. Nautica Johnson. He's here. Okay. Erica Phillips Jones. Christy Julita. Shahi Khan. Nicole Lebenton. Angulo. Oh, okay. Alex Lessman. Donna Loggins. Sasha Maluskis. No. Melissa Minnick. Efren.
He's not here.
Okay.
Asma
Nazi.
You're also.
Eric Oss.
Right here.
Ornella Parker. Nora Pena. Susan Phillips. Steve Boxka.
Speed's not here? Absent.
Brandon Passant.
Barden.
Passant. Sorry. I should have known. Baza Ruhi.
She's not here. Nina is here.
Nina. Yeah, she's here. Sagir, right?
Yep.
Joe Siegel. Gail L. Smith. Thank you.
Gail, man.
Here to
You
help.
looked at her the whole time too. I saw you with that eye contact.
Alexa Summers. Tova Zenberg. Rolanda Telesford Hasty. She's here?
No,
No,
actually.
okay. Abraham Dreth.
Can you get this one?
I got this one. Deborah Valentine. Yeah. Dawn Marie Walker.
There we go.
And Alana Wilson. Thank you. We made it.
Thank you very much.
Yo, first thing, shout out to Third Vice Chair Deborah Valentin for stepping in as secretary. That's not easy, so thank you very much for stepping in and doing that. You know what I'm saying? I remember. So thank you very much for doing that.
You're welcome.
And so we have a chief quorum. Excellent. And so the next business is the minutes. And so first things first, did we receive any changes via email for the June 2025 minutes?
Yes, we had a typo corrected by Eagle Eyes Lisa Derrick.
Fantastic.
It's been corrected.
Excellent. So Lisa, thank you very much for that. Do we have any changes from the floor for the June 2025 minutes? Okay, so seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes of the June 2025 General Board meeting? Excellent. And so, any against? Any abstentions? Anyone ineligible? Okay, so the motion carries. And so first things first, before I go to district manager's report, there's some people I want to call out and introduce. And so first we have the new, am I getting this correct? Commanding Officer Deputy Inspector Warnersbach. Sorry about that.
You did well. Yeah, it was good. Very good.
Hey, you know, I'm trying. I got to get your name right.
Hi, how you all doing? So my name is Joe Warnersbach. I'm the new commanding officer of the 70th precinct. I'm not new to the community though. I was a police officer here for the first 7 years of my career, so I know the community well. I know the neighborhood well. I'm very honored to be back. I believe very strongly in working with the community because like I say in a lot of speeches that I do, I love this place, I love this community, but I don't live here. You know, you all live here, this is your home. So whatever I could do to make your life better, your blocked driveways, your noise complaints, all of your issues that come up, please let me know, all right? It's nothing too small for the 7-0 precinct to handle, and we want to definitely make sure that we serve this community, we serve it well, all right? I'll just go through my career very quickly. I know I don't want to take a lot of time.
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah. There we go. All right, we're good. All right, so I have 20 years on the job. I started as a police cadet at 18. I worked for the New York City Office of Emergency Management as a watch commander, so I have some experience with multi-agency kind of responses. You know, we worked on things like building collapses and responses like that. So the reason why that's important as a commander is that I don't need the mic. You keep the mic on. Gotcha. All right. All right. Is it, the mic's good now? Testing. 1, 2, testing. All right. So yeah. So the reason why that's important is a lot of community complaints. They involve multiple agencies. The NYPD can do a lot, but they can't do everything. So when you have RVs that are parked illegally, taking electric from the city and those sort of things, you need FDNY to come out. You need sanitation. You need a host of agencies to solve a problem. So that experience really helps out a lot. And so with the new Q teams that the department has put out, that's going to go a long way into solving a lot of community complaints. So I joined the job at 21. I was assigned here to 7-0 for 7 years. I did schools, street narcotics here, a bunch of different units at the time that were open. Made sergeant in 2012, went to the 8-8 in Fort Greene, where I did the same job, but I was a supervisor, so I did conditions and schools. Liaisoning with all schools, very important to keeping the kids safe, so it's very important to me. With the Q teams, we lost our YCO team a bit, so now we only have 2 YCOs, so we're going to have to host a lot of meetings with our admin staffs And my wife being a teacher, I know the struggles that the DOE goes through, so I want to make sure we work closely with them to keep everybody safe during dismissal time as we just got into the school year. As a lieutenant, I went to the 68 precinct where I worked midnights, and then I was the integrity control officer, and then I became captain. And I went to the 90th precinct in Williamsburg, first as an XO and then as a commanding officer. Did that for 2 years, and now I'm here. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm going to be around in the back if anybody has any questions or anything for me. I don't want to take up much of your time, but like I said, I'm very happy to be back here, and and I look forward to working with all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Warnersbach. Appreciate that. And then we also have Assembly Member Yeager.
Hi, everybody. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. This doesn't work. I'm turning it off, Sean. Good evening. There we go. Okay. So this is my welcome back a little bit. I was a member of this board for 18 years, back when Abe Lincoln was chair, and Sean was district manager. I'm kidding. And then I was served as the city council, as you know, for 7 years. So half my life has been on this board, because as a member of the council, you're a member of the community board. I also live in this community board, so this is, and I get in trouble for saying it, my favorite board of all the boards that I represent. I've heard from other district managers that I'm no longer welcome there whenever I say that, but I still say it. Community Board 14 is an amazing place, both the parts of it that I represent, but the entirety of it. It's one of the most diverse neighborhoods in the city, and it's a place I love. As you know, or may not, our assemblywoman for parts of the district, good chunk of it, was Helene Weinstein for 44 years. I don't think I'll ever have a job that I hold for 44 years, and certainly not this one. She was incredible. She gave virtually her entire life to public service, to serving in the assembly, and when she left, she was the second highest ranking assembly member as the chair of the Ways and Means Committee, which basically made her the third or fourth most important person in Albany. And now you get me. But she left incredibly large shoes to fill. She's somebody who I learned from a lot, and she always put our community first in everything that she did, even when she was doing the most important work in Albany, drawing the budget and figuring things out that affected the entire state. She was always everywhere in our neighborhood, and I'm going to try to do the same. This is my first meeting since I left the city council, because the first 6 of 2025, I was in Albany when you were meeting, and that did not keep Sean and I from speaking. I think, Sean, is there an elected official you speak with more than me? I'm not going to be jealous. It's okay. I won't be jealous. You can be truthful. Okay. When I was in the council, I considered my district managers, I had 4 of them, my partners in everything I did. And that was, to me, really the only way to get things done. And Sean, not just because selfishly she represented, as district manager, my neighborhood, so I wanted to make sure it gets taken care of, but she was an incredible district manager. She does a really great job. And she makes elected officials' jobs easier, because there is less for us to do when we have a district manager that we could dump stuff on, as I have many, many, many times. So that's the reintroduction for me. Those of you who remember where Helene's office was, same place. The address is the same, the telephone number is the same, much of the staff is the same, and it's a little bit of a Brady Bunch thing. I merged Helene's existing staff with my city council staff, and the Brady Bunch. So we're there, and the only thing that's different is new management and someone with a beard instead of someone who didn't have one. The main thing that I just wanted to let you know we're working on, and Sean and I have been dealing with this for a long time, is it's not the only thing I'm working on, it's just the only thing in Community Board 14. The Kings Highway monstrosity that the Department of Transportation has foisted upon us. Those who have heard me speak before know that I'm a firm believer that the DOT does nothing right. Even when they can, they try hard to get it wrong, and this is no different. They're destroying Kings Highway. They do it, I think they do it because they enjoy doing it. They really don't have any bosses, nobody tells them what to do, and if they mess something up, they don't get fired. And so this is their way of living, and they enjoy it. Sean and I went to Community Hospital about 2 weeks ago with Councilwoman Vernikov and Senator Sam Sutton to talk about some of the destruction that DOT is doing around the hospital that will literally make it more difficult for people to get care, for emergency vehicles to pull up. And we have been trying very hard for years. I think when I was on the community board and even long before that, to get DOT to pay attention to some of the traffic, transportation, and parking issues around Community Hospital. They finally, and not exaggeration, I think over 20 years of trying to do this, they finally decided to address it, and they're doing it all wrong. We've been trying to get them to do it a little better, not to hinder ambulances and emergency personnel and medical personnel from getting to the hospital. We're not really sure if they're agreeing with us yet, but the construction and the destruction on Kings Highway is continuing nonetheless, with the ETA of it being completed, I think, sometime 3 weeks after never. I don't think they've given us an exact date, but it's still going on. So that explains some of the delays that you may see on the Kings Highway bus, and also some of the chaos and destruction that you see around that hospital. Okay, that's it. Now, my staff is going to get upset if I don't do these things. I was never used to having these notes and staff telling me what to do, and when you're in Albany, they give you notes and whatever. So we have all the events that Helene had, same. Flu shots in my office, same. We bring the shredding truck, same. We have the MTA bus coming to the front of my office on the first Tuesday of every month, same. That means that if you live in the south of the district and you don't frequent subways, then you have no place to renew your Metro card or refill Metro card. People still use Metro cards. I'm embarrassed to say I still have a Metro card in my pocket. Not embarrassed, it's what I use. And if you need to fill that up, you can go to the MTA bus. You don't have to go to a subway station. It's a very important project, especially for the people who live in Sheepshead Nostrand, because they rely on the city buses more than they rely on subways, and they really never go to subways to fill up their Metro card. So feel free to avail yourself of it. It's really one of the only places that you can get your Metro card filled up without actually going to a subway station. And that's it for me. That's it for me. If you do need a flu shot and you don't want to have to wait online, hospital, CVS, whatever, call my office. The number's the same, 718-648-4700. Nobody's writing it down, so that means you all know it. That's good. Or you don't need this. But feel free to come by, call first, make an appointment. We'll get you done. And if there's anything that you need, I'm a little bit of a jokester, and some of you are used to it. But if there's anything you need, call me. We are there to serve. I love public service. My staff loves it. We kept the right people. These are people who served Helene for a very, very long time, and they served me in the city council for a very, very long time. They're experienced, dedicated public servants. They're waiting for your call. Seriously. I mean, they have what to do, but if you need them, call them. Don't be shy. Don't wait to meet me on the street and say, you know, I got this problem on Avenue J or whatever. Call my office. Anyway, that's it for me. For those celebrating, and even if you're not, a happy and a healthy new year. I will see you sometime soon, but then comes January, you don't get me for 6 months, and you're going to have to make your own entertainment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I do. So before we go to thank you very much for that, Assemblymember Yeager. And so there's a couple people I need to shout out who are here. So in no order, we have Nancy Lulu from the Brooklyn DA's office. Thank you very much for coming, Nancy, as always. We have Mary Kay Siri from Assemblymember Carroll's office, so thank you very much for coming as well. We also have Portia Edwards from Senator Myrie's office, so thank you very much for coming. And then we also have Kashif. You were popular, man. Your name's like bingo today. Everyone's calling your name. But we also have you from the Public Advocate's office as well, too. We also have Ellie Slavin from Congresswoman Clark's office. So thank you very much for coming as well. And then I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that oh, yes. And we also have Noam Abrams from Senator Sutton's office. So thank you very much as well. And, of course, last but not least, we have Carol Ann Church from the Brooklyn Borough President's office. So thank you very much. All right, so now we are on to the district manager's report.
All right, I'm sorry. I have to start with bad news. Community boards, you all know that the city budget passed, and community boards did not get a baseline budget increase. We worked really hard. I actually presented myself to this body as a hopeful person at some point last year, and it's a little Charlie Brown with the football action, but we'll keep trying. We're going to try to make it more of an ongoing campaign all year, to bring it up in as many arenas with as many of the elected officials and the budget makers as possible. I will thank Councilmember Farrah Lewis, who serves on the Finance Committee and really did go to bat for us and tried, and then came through with a member item. So both Councilmember Lewis and Councilmember Rita Joseph have given this board money, because after we didn't get the increase, and I didn't know that, I didn't feel like the support from the electeds was everything it could have been, or certainly not everything I wished for. I pointed out that if they couldn't support a baseline budget increase, perhaps they could chip in on our budget. So those two council members did. I believe other council members will, because of the timing last year, not everybody could. But we'll ask for funding that way, as we also continue to work on a Friends of possibility for the board to support the things that we do that aren't mandatory. We don't have to have a youth conference every year, right? But we do it every single year. 400 some students come through the doors, and 80 some agencies and organizations serve them. We don't have to have a nonprofit roundtable, but I think it helps us serve our community better. So, but they cost a little bit. They don't cost as much money as they should, because we should be paying the Flatbush Y, everything the Flatbush Y should get paid, but we go hat in hand and ask agencies and organizations to do a lot in kind. So we'll keep working at it, and I'm going to say it more than once this year, because I hope that you will all keep it top of mind. We are now maxed out to the point where, and I'm not saying that, I'm not asking, but I just want you to know that we're maxed out to the point where we can't give merit raises to staff anymore. And it's because we have a professional staff, so we started there, but it is worrisome that in 20 years we have never, ever, ever received a baseline budget increase. 20 years. So we've actually, when you think about inflation, we are funded less than we were when we were founded 20 years ago. So you might hear me say that again. But the good news, I did lace that with good news, is that we do have the funding from the elected officials, and that will be put to good use for our ongoing projects. I actually gave testimony. So the other thing I need to report, since I did this after we met in June, is I presented testimony to the Government Ops Committee. There were a few intros in City Council that had to do with supporting community boards, and to the extent that some of them could be helpful and others were feeble and misguided, none of them got to the baseline budget problem. So that was the testimony that was presented. I think it got sent along with the minutes. So that testimony is a part of the public record in the minutes. I know a lot of people had fun this summer because we approved, and thank you Detective Nuzzi for working closely on this, we approved about 83 street activity permits, and there's still, I counted them today, there's still 19 block parties and street events to come. So the fun ain't over. I'll see you out there. Speaking of fun, and I don't want to steal your thunder, so I'm just going to say it very quickly, the CB14 reception will be held this year on October 30th here. I know you can find it because you're here tonight. So hope to see you there. Sorry, just double checking. Anything I've forgotten, I will report on next month. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, District Manager Campbell. And so now we begin, give me a second real quick. So now we begin with the chair's report. And so first things first, yeah, I'll be good for now. I'll be good now. I'm feeling the flow right now. And so good evening and welcome back. And so I hope you stayed cool, because this was one of those summers where New York City clapped back. And so thankfully it's not 95% humidity, 68 dew point, whatever the measurement is. It's not that hot anymore. So thank goodness. And I hope you are all recharged and reinvigorated, precisely because we're not all sweating that much outside. And so for those who celebrate Mawlid al-Nabi, I hope you do so well. And for those who will celebrate Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, I hope these celebrations are very robust and also very enriching as well. I want to remind folks that September 15th through October 15th is National Hispanic Heritage Month. And so I take this time to thank that community for its continuing contributions to our society. And I hope that folks who do hold this community dear do have a vibrant month of celebration. And I also want to call out that September is National Recovery Month. And so for those who are struggling with substance abuse or know someone who is, I'm wishing this individual and the people around them the support and strength required to conquer that fight, because that's a long-term thing. That's not a short-term thing. Some sad news as well, too, in case people may have forgotten, in late June, past board member Naomi Lipnick passed away. So Naomi has served on the community board for nearly 2 decades. She was dedicated, she was very thoughtful, and for people who sat very close to her, they knew that she had a slightly spicy bit of humor and sass. And some might say she was hilarious, but you can decide that for yourself. And so even though she resigned from the board to focus on her health, she still kept in touch, right? She kept calling the board about issues, about community theft, and then also sometimes just to check in and say hi to people in the board office. And so to her family, I send my deepest condolences, but I also thank them for sharing her with us for all that time. And I do ask folks to join us in a moment of silence for Naomi Lipnick. Thank you very much. So the next thing I want to let folks know is that on Wednesday, June 18th, several CB14 board members, we had the great pleasure of meeting at King's Theater and receiving a tour led by Emma Durkin. And so the tour was awesome. Emma was a very gracious host. She gave us a lot of insight and history in terms of King's Theater. And so Emma and King's Theater, I thank you massively for giving us that opportunity. And then as Sean mentioned, we're going to have the CB14 annual reception on October 30th here. And so next up, Committee of the Whole report regarding DOT open dining. So on Thursday, August 7th, at the CB14 Brooklyn office, several public hearings were held. The purpose of these public hearings was to receive public comment in relation to applications by 4 establishments to have sidewalk cafes under DOT's Dining Out NYC program. So the 4 establishments were Ovi's Grilled Chicken, Incorporated DBA Ovi's Place on 2925 Avenue H, at Bonnie Restaurant Corps, DBA Green Pavilion Restaurant and Sports Lounge, 4307 18th Avenue, 1715 Foster Avenue Incorporated, DBA Westwood Bar, 1715 Foster Avenue, and Burnt Toast Incorporated, DBA La Puerta Roja, 1120 Cortellia Road. And so the outcome of those recommendations from that August 7th public hearing were that for Ovi's Grilled Chicken, disapproved due to the representative's absence and therefore being unable to answer questions regarding sidewalk clearance, perimeter markings, and appropriateness of street furniture. For Green Pavilion, it was to approve. For Westwood Bar, it was to approve. And for La Puerta Roja, it was to approve pending the outcome of conversation with DOT to ensure compliance of the plan. And so those recommendations were submitted to DCP and then provided to all board members prior to this meeting. And so does anyone have any questions about the recommendations that were submitted, or do I have a motion to ratify the recommendations that came from the Committee of the Whole? Okay, excellent. So do I have any abstentions? Any ineligible? Do I have any against? Okay, and so the motion to ratify those recommendations carries. So then second question I have is, do I have a motion to dissolve the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. And so same thing again, do I have any board members ineligible? Do I have any abstentions? Do I have any against? Okay, so that motion carries. So now this is important. This is another important piece. So I have an update on at Bonnie Restaurant Corps, DBA Green Pavilion Restaurant. So remember, on Thursday, August 7th, at that Community Board 14 Public Committee of the Whole hearing, the Green Pavilion Sidewalk Cafe application was approved. And so there were no members of the public present at that hearing, and we had received no written testimony from the public prior to that. And also CB14 had not received any negative info from the 7th Precinct regarding that establishment. On the morning of August 11th, a shooting occurred outside of that establishment. In addition, CB14 received written correspondence from a member of the public that expressed concern about this establishment. So when we had this information, CB14, we explored options to revisit the recommendation. However, given that DOT's deadline of Friday, August 15th wasn't flexible, we then decided that it was best to keep our recommendation and relay this information to Councilmember Rita Joseph's office. And so that's what's happening in regards to Green Pavilion. So the next, yes.
Yeah, and just to put a finer point on it, it wasn't a decision based on convenience or anything, we literally did not have the legally required amount of time to call in a new emergency hearing ahead of that Monday deadline. The hearing, the information that has since been obtained from NYPD regarding that and then previous incidents that had escaped our attention prior to that hearing have been brought to the council members' attention. They have put in their concerns, and now there will be a public hearing held by DOT. I got the date today. It is September 17th in the morning. So I will attend that, and we'll put it on our on the website. So if any members of the public want to attend, and we'll reach out to the people who express concerns as well.
Thank you very much for that clarity. Let me put something in my notes real quick. Whoops. Okay. Sweet. So next up, recap of the public hearing on the Landmarks Preservation Commission application for Beshert Synagogue at 83 Marlborough Road, which is basically the intersection of Church and Marlborough, right? So on Thursday, September 4th, at the CB14 office, there was a public hearing held, and so the purpose was to consider public testimony with respect to an application to the Landmarks Preservation Commission on behalf of Beshert, the Beth Shalom Vehemeth Reform Temple, for a new ADA accessible ramp, walkway and vestibule, interior alterations, and installation of HVAC and other equipment. So although that's what it says there, there was one of the architects who said for some reason the way it was when they submitted the application, HVAC was there, but the parts of their plan had nothing to do with HVAC on the rooftops. And so the building, again, is located at 83 Marlborough Road, Block 5096, Lot 1, in the Prospect Park South Historic District. So members of the public were asked to register at the back table. While there were no registered speakers, CB14 did receive written testimony in support of the application, and I read that testimony into the record. So board members asked various questions about the design and other areas that weren't addressed, for example, the main entrance at the corner of Church Ave and Marlborough Road. So in the end, a recommendation was made to approve the application, and the motion passed unanimously. And so is there any discussion on the matter from board members here tonight? Yes? Yeah, because they had the one with the two switchbacks versus the one, right? Yes, correct.
Personal preference, I like the big bush. I like the green stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of softens that corner.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more concrete. Steel, I wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if others would see it felt the same way. If so, I would ask you to check out, forward our preference.
Okay, got you. Thank you for that. And so, question to the board members who were there. Do the other board members, did any board members also have a preference to which plan they preferred? And for context, they showed that basically they had two options. So there was one for the AD accessible ramp. There was one with one switchback versus two, and the switchback would just mean if you would have to basically do one zigzag to get up to the entrance instead of having to do two zigzags to get up to the entrance. And so some of the questions that came up would be if someone were in a wheelchair, would that be more effort and more strenuous to have one versus two? And so the architects were telling us that either one would be ADA compliant. It's just that to make the one switchback, they'd have to create further space, which is why they'd have to take out one of the bushes to the side. Yes.
They did say they would defer to LPC in terms of that design, and so I don't know if the board would want to make it the recommendation contingent upon that, but what I heard you say is to express it as a preference in the notes okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool, and I was just giving context from that. And so any other discussion on that matter? Okay, so hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the recommendation from the public hearing in regards to Beshert's application to the Landmarks Preservation Commission? Okay. Okay, thank you. And so do I have any board members ineligible? Any abstentions? Any against? Okay, so the motion carries. So next up, we had a public hearing basically just over an hour ago, right here. And the purpose of it was to hear public testimony in regards to the city's fiscal year 2027 capital and expense budget. And so the district manager summarized community input, and then also some board members also provided additional items that should be added as well for input. And so that's pretty much it right there, because there was no action, no motion that had to be taken for that. And so that's the summary of this one. So next up, we also had a public hearing. Yeah.
Which decision came? I'm reading that right now. Yeah. No, I got you. Yeah. So next. No, vigilance is fine. That's okay. And so next up, we have the other public hearing that we had as well on burnt toast, right? Incorporated DBA La Puerta Roja, right? So right after that hearing on the 2027 capital expense budget, we also had a hearing on burnt toast's application for a sidewalk cafe, right? And this was under DOT's Dining Out NYC program. And so members of the public were asked to register at the back table. There were no registered speakers. We did have a representative from La Puerta Roja here, and this individual testified and answered board questions and also board member share questions. So in the end, a recommendation was made to approve the application as submitted, and the motion passed. And so is there any discussion on the matter from board members here tonight? Okay, so hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the recommendation from tonight's public hearing with regards to La Puerta Roja sidewalk cafe application? Okay, thank you. So I'll start again. Are there any board members ineligible? Are there any abstentions? Okay, I have one abstention. Do we have any board members against? Okay. Okay. And so the motion carries. So next up, folks, you should have received your committee appointments. And so we tried our best to give you your first or second choice. And so we hope people are happy. And so next up, we have the Brooklyn Borough Board report. And so the Brooklyn Borough Board meeting took place on Tuesday, September 3rd. So some of the key agenda items were the following: unfinished business regarding a vote on the Broadway Junction ULURP, a vote on adoption or non-adoption of revised Brooklyn Board bylaws, and 2 public hearings, one on a joint project between DOT and Parks to reconstruct the sidewalk at Prospect Park Grand Army Plaza, specifically Plaza Street East, and then one on the proposed Shirley Chisholm Pavilion. And so with respect to the unfinished business regarding a vote on the Broadway Junction ULURP, I'll be honest with you, it was spicy. So short story, in the June 2025 Brooklyn Borough Board meeting, the chairs of the community boards affected by this proposal, they voiced their concerns of the residents that they represented, in addition to their own concerns about the project. So to everyone's surprise, we learned that the borough president had already voted yes to support this project with no conditions. And so from that point, several chairs, including yours truly, voiced their disbelief, frustration, and disappointment with the borough president and what we perceived as his disrespect of community boards and community voices. And so after those comments were made, a vote took place. Since there were 0 yeses and there were more abstentions than no, what this means is that Brooklyn Borough Board took no action on the Broadway Junction ULURP project. And so that's the summarization of what happened in regarding to that piece. So with respect to the next item, which was voting on the Brooklyn Borough Board bylaws, there was discussion among borough board members. And after discussion, a vote took place and a motion passed to adopt the updated bylaws. And then with respect to the 2 public hearings, so the first public hearing on DOT and Parks, a joint project to reconstruct the sidewalk at Prospect Park Grand Army Plaza, that also got spicy. And the reason it got spicy is because there was a thread from several Brooklyn Borough Board members asking how are projects prioritized. Because there were questions about how is it that this project about reconstructing the sidewalk along Plaza Park East was getting funding and being viewed as like a safety project compared to other projects that people were citing in their neighborhoods that haven't been funded yet. And so there was a conversation that then developed there in terms of how is stuff being prioritized and what is the inside and what is this. And so there were no members of the public present. A vote did not take place on this item. Instead, the vote was moved to the next borough board meeting. And then with respect to the public hearing on the proposed Shirley Chisholm Pavilion, that also got spicy for the same reason, because the same thread from the first part about how are these projects being prioritized and whatnot, that same thread continued. And so one chairperson remarked that he had seen improved communication from the Prospect Park Alliance regarding their outreach on this project, but he still felt while he's still seen improvement, there's still things that can be done better. And then for myself, I asked for some clarity on some timelines. I did receive them, and I did state that since that Brooklyn board meeting took place before our general board meeting, I couldn't provide a vote on that. And so there were no members of the public present, and also for this item, a vote did not take place on this. Instead, the vote was moved to the next borough board meeting. And that ends the chair's report. And so at this point, what we will do is we will go to the topical committees in order. And so
Before I do that, though, I first want to, I'm trying to see if he's here. Yes, first thing I want to do is I want to give a round of applause to Wayne Rosenfeld and the East Midwood Jewish Center for hosting us again. And also Mark Moss for live streaming this meeting. So I say this all the time, and I say it all the time because I mean it. We couldn't do this without you, so thank you very much for this. And so in order of committees, we will first start with transportation, and then next up will be housing and land use.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? All right. Could be better, huh? Hi, everyone. My name is Musa. First, I just want to welcome all the members who joined the Transportation Committee. As I've said many times, it is the best committee. I also want to welcome Benjamin to be co-chair. I do want to shout out my old co-chair, Deborah, who did a great job. One of the reasons why I am not surprised that she didn't get my last name is because whenever I'm up here, I always introduce myself as just Musa. So I don't hold that against you at all. All right, so one of the reasons why I think the Transportation Committee is the best committee is because every so often we have a spicy meeting, and in June we did have a spicy meeting, and we're going to give you guys an update on that. So the DOT came to give a presentation to our committee on what they're calling Phase 3 of the bike lane network. It was a specific proposal on 2 protected bike lanes in the neighborhood, as well as some intersection improvements. They first presented on some high-level stats around safety and bike ridership. You can find much more details in the presentations, but there was a 32% reduction in crash risks where they introduced bike lanes and installed them. There's a 34% reduction across all study projects across the city. They also shared that the Phase 2 network bike lane, which is the paint-only bike lanes, was either beginning or already had begun. That proposal specifically involved east-west connections and a bunch of north-south extensions. For the Phase 3 proposal specifically, they proposed building out 2 protected bike lanes, one on Dorchester Road and one on Cortelyou Road, each being one way. They also proposed installing what they called hardened daylighting at a number of intersections. They identified 7 intersections in the district to improve sight lines and improve safety at those intersections. In terms of the presentation feedback, I'm going to cover the feedback on the Phase 3 proposal specifically, and Benjamin's going to cover some other feedback. On the Phase 3 proposal for the protected bike lanes on Dorchester and Cortelyou, most of the feedback from the public and board members supported the proposed bike lanes on those roads, although I will note that a board member did share questions about the DOT's notification process and opposition to the DOT's notification process, calling for specific notifications for Dorchester Road residents who may be directly affected by the implementation of the bike lane. And we asked the DOT to do outreach to those residents on that road specifically. Thank you.
So here's where I come in. Even when something is not on the agenda, it becomes spicy and on the agenda. So there was also another thing going on at about the same time, Phase 2 for paint-only bike lanes in the south of the district. Think bike lanes on Avenue J and Avenue M, for example. There was a number of feedback. There was no presentation, so it was just really a feedback regarding safety and a number of other issues as well. The DOT discussed. There were discussions with the DOT regarding community feedback as well, which many people said that the DOT did not actually reach out to the community and get feedback at all from there. After that meeting, there was a meeting between the DOT with the commissioner as well as local members of the community and some community leaders as well as elected officials that represented that area. And based on the feedback and the conversation, it was decided that until further feedback can be obtained from the community, there will be no further movement on that bike lane in the south. In terms of future board meetings, we actually have a potential November meeting in the works. We'll be back to update you as soon as we know more.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
That's right. So the parking is moving over. There's going to be a bike lane, a 3-foot buffer, and then the parking sits. And so there's going to be parking on both sides. There will be some parking impact around, I think they're going to do daylighting around some of the intersections. So they're not getting rid of the parking on the whole street on one side. They're maintaining it. And then towards some of the intersections, they're daylighting it, I believe. I can give you the answer right now. South side, the south sidewalk on Cortelyou and the south sidewalk on Dorchester.
And the PowerPoint's on the website if you want to look at all the great pictures.
Okay, I'm just curious, it sounds, I mean, did the big comment at all, or, I mean, the
Merch Association? Not at the meeting itself, no.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. So next up, we have housing and land use, and then community safety.
Hi, my name is Melissa.
Greg.
And might be biased, but I kind of think housing and land use is the best committee. Just saying. So we actually already had our first meeting of the year. On last Thursday, September 4th, we started off in person at the community board office. We started after those public hearings that we heard about. And we had a couple presentations. We started off with a very robust presentation by Hanif Yazdi, who's a Brooklyn Borough planner with the Department of City Planning, and he gave us a very thorough rundown of the overview of land use, ULURP, it's Uniform Land Use Review Process, zoning, and just all that that means. So for those who are not familiar with any of these pieces, or maybe don't understand or have never heard of these terms, a lot of these, he walked us through really a good history of what land use has looked like in New York City, starting with when there weren't any laws about it, and when you could have houses and housing next to commercial waste zones, and then starting to take us through the whole timeline of when were the first land use laws put into place, what does zoning look like, what does it mean when you have something like FAR, like the floor area requirements. And we got a little bit into the AMI, area median incomes, and those pieces, but he was really looking at much more of the DCP side of things and zoning and all of these, in some cases, acronyms. What is residential versus commercial manufacturing, and what do all of those pieces mean?
All right, and then in the second part of the presentation on September 4th, we had two representatives from the Board of Standards and Appeals, which handles any variances or special permissions that applicants might need to conduct their projects. So we had Chris Yoon, who is a commissioner on the Board of Standards and Appeals, and we also had I believe it was Gila Pringa, Director of Land Use. And they presented a similar type presentation where they describe what they do, what kind of applications come before them, and also what our role is as a community board in making recommendations to them when applications come to us. And that, I think, very much segues to what's coming up on September 29th. So we have two BSA applications that will be heard at public hearings. That'll take place at 6:30 at the district office, again, September 29th, and we encourage everyone to come. There are two very interesting applications, and we'll be able to apply the information that the BSA had supplied us on Thursday. So we welcome everyone to join us for that, and look out for our future meetings as well. Thank you very much.
Question.
I watched it before I came in.
Yeah, it was super interesting.
He was tapped in. All right. So thank you two very much. So next up, we have community safety, followed by community environment.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. So nice to see everybody. We would love, on behalf of myself and Florenzia, my co-chair for Florenzia Ajita Chang, we'd like to welcome everyone back. We'd like to ask whoever to join all of you to join our Community Safety Committee and also to join our meetings whenever possible. We want to wish everybody who celebrates a happy Maulid al-Nabi and a happy New Year for those who celebrate Rosh Hashanah. We wanted to tell you that the 70th precinct is once again commemorating the anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy that befell the city, and we'll be gathering at 8:46 a.m. on Thursday, September 11th, in front of the precinct. And it will end at approximately 9:20 a.m. and will memorialize the fallen heroes. We welcome your attendance and thank you for your continued support of the 70th Precinct and its officers past and present. Thank you so much, everyone, and please join our committee.
And Hindi, I'm going to add just something real quick. The community council meeting actually, because of holidays, is moved, and it will be held on Wednesday, September 17th, 7:30, across the street from the precinct.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andy. Wow, 17th? Okay, moving that early. Okay, got you. So next up, we have Community Environment and Cultural Affairs.
Hi, everybody. Since I'm new to this committee, our next meeting will be held on Monday, September 30th, and I'm asking that everyone come out and support us. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So next up, we have Human Services Committee, followed by Youth Services.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you all had a good summer.
On the thing it says.
We'll get the date corrected and send it out to everybody. We'll make sure everybody has it, because we want you all there.
It's on the thing it said Monday the 20th,
Okay.
30th.
Got you. Okay, so we'll correct that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful summer. Welcome back. My name is Yvette Claire-Jean, and I'm here along with my co-chair.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Jarrell Gray. It's my first time up here, so I want to say, one, hi, Mom. I'm sending her the live stream after this. And two, this is my, going into my second year on the community board, so I've been waiting a whole year to say this. Come join the best committee, the Human Services Committee. So on October 27th at 6:30 p.m., we will be having our first meeting, and it is in person at the district office. So excited for that. We have a presentation from Public Health Solutions, and we're pending on Brooklyn Community Housing and Services.
Hope to see you then.
All I got to say is all you were lucky Ornella's not here, because she's the one who started all this. Speaking of which, Youth Services, Education, Libraries Committee's up.
Ornella, are you watching? The Youth Service, Education, Libraries Committee, the best committee. You hear that whoop? It's real. That whoop also is my heart because school began and I have 3 children. And so I'm just so grateful the summer is over. And so those of you who have kids, congratulations. Your kids are back at school. And thank you to all teachers. You're a blessing. So from the Youth Services Committee and myself. I just want to mention 2 things. One, the statewide bell-to-bell cell phone ban is in effect, so many of you may have heard this, but all personal internet-enabled devices in all K-12 public and charter schools in the state are in a pouch from the beginning of the school day to the end. As a teacher, this is an amazing thing that for 35 hours of the week, our kids are walking around in hallways, sitting at lunch tables, in their classrooms, and they just have to talk to the people around them. It's an amazing thing, and as a teacher who worked in a school that had this for a long time, it's wonderful for the adults as well. Just to have that, and there's not this thing in between everybody. So I just want to shout out that law and how much I think it's going to make this school year different for a lot of the kids, especially high school kids. So, yeah. And I also wanted to make you guys aware, we talked about this last year, actually at the youth conference, speaking with one of the representatives at the borough's office about connecting more with the community education councils in our district. So if you don't know about the community education councils, they're made up of elected and appointed parent and community members. They work with families, school leaders, superintendent to advise on issues such as zoning, school utilization, some policy stuff. So the District 22 is probably the largest school district in our district in CB14, and that meeting is on October 7th. If you look up the CEC District 22, they live stream it. You can chime in. But really, for all members of the community, anybody who's a parent interested in policy and what's happening in our community, tune into that meeting. And we will see all of you invited to the next Youth Services Committee meeting. And we have, yeah, it'll be great. You just come. That's it.
All right, thank you very much for that. So that concludes the topical committees. And so now that brings us to, yeah, Regine, you had a question?
One limited question, I guess, for the Transportation Committee. If someone were to ask what the current status as of today is of the bike lanes that have been presented on for the past couple of years, what would be the answer? Is it still, is there update you can share?
Yes, so the, like Benjamin reported, the paint-only bike lanes south of Avenue I have been suspended pending further community engagement. So the DOT is going to come back and, at some point, we don't know when, start a community engagement process hopefully, and then go from there. But anything south of basically Brooklyn College is on pause. The protected bike lanes that they presented on for Cortelyou and Dorchester, they're going to take the feedback that they got from us and then hopefully integrate it into into the plan. From a previous meeting, they had indicated that they also wanted to do that project this year. We'll see if they actually have time, or because once November hits, I think they stop laying down stuff on the road because of weather changes. So eventually it becomes a race against time, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I did open up a can of worms.
It's my understanding that MTA is doing an engineering study but that DOT and MTA have come to some agreements pending the result of the engineering study. And I was told that that will be done imminently, but that's imminent is the word that's been used for 3 years, so maybe I need to refresh my understanding of the definition. But we're still, Greg Alvarez is nodding his head because we touch base. I pester endlessly, so I'll keep doing it. This is MTA, Joel, so like, yeah.
Yeah, different.
And working closely with Councilmember Farrah Lewis's office on this one. They're pestering too. And you're welcome to too.
You're welcome. Anytime. And so, excuse me. And so, yeah, so now we're officially in the public comment period. And so, board members, we are expected to remain for the public comment period. Speakers, if you haven't already, you could sign up with Patricia and Sarah in the back up until the beginning of the period. And it's for matters of civic interest and announcements of public events, right? And so, please, a reminder, no partisan political appeals or advertising or for-profit enterprises are permitted. Each speaker will be permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not receive additional time from another speaker. And speakers are directed to address the assembly from the front of the room. At the conclusion of the 3-minute period, each speaker must return to their seat. So the board does have an obligation to conduct its business in an orderly manner, and so any person preventing the meeting from continuing may be asked to leave. And so accordingly, speaking time will be assigned first to speakers from different groups, then to speakers addressing different issues all the way down the line. So it is 8:08 p.m. The first speaker is Wayne Rosenfeld, followed by Mary Kay Siri.
I know this microphone. I'm not starting in with it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our building. It's nice to see everybody here. If anybody, show of hands, has anybody gone swimming since we reopened in June? Anybody?
Swimming.
Why not? Swimming here. We have a brand-new set of locker rooms. Our pool is totally redone. It's beautiful. It's not like it used to be. So come on in. The water's great. Starting November 1st, you'll see a lot of changes here. We are going to be putting in a lot of Homeland Security money. You're going to be seeing a 24/7 lockdown facility. It's going to be a totally different culture. It'll make everybody 100% safe. Putting all new doors in, all new security measures. So be on the lookout for that. And for your November meeting, you'll experience it firsthand. So, by the way, make your meeting 15 minutes later because people are going to be, no kidding. We are entering our capital campaign, our public phase, and you may be asking, why am I asking? We are a nonprofit. We get very little money from outside of these walls, and even $18 here, $36 there helps. We need a new microphone, literally. We just are asking the community to help us. We never say no to the community when they need space. And we're just, if it's in your means and you're able to, just give me a call, and that's about it. We have basketball slots open at night and weekends on Sundays if anybody wants to rent a gym. And I'm looking for another, I have karate now. I'm looking for a second karate program. I'm looking for mommy and me programs. If you have an existing business and you have insurance and you want to start a business here, come on in and give me a call. We have this room and we have some other rooms during night and weekends. All right, and that's it. Thank you very much and enjoy your day.
Thank you so much, Wayne. So next up, we have Mary Kay Siri, followed by Carol Ann Church.
Hi, good evening. Let me first say the easy part. We have 2 shredding events coming in the fall. The first is going to be on September 26th. It's going to be in Prospect Heights on St. John's Place between 9 and 12. I can't tell you the exact address because it's alternate side of the street parking, and they're just going to get where they can get on St. John's. And then the second event is going to be the following Friday, which is October 3rd, and that's going to be right in front of the Assembly Members District Office on 7th Avenue in Park Slope. So hopefully you can take advantage of that. We're going to have a ton more events this fall, including in October we have the Department of Finance coming to our office, and you guys are going to be able to make appointments with representatives there. So, but I'll remind you at October's meeting. The second thing I wanted to bring up is not as fun. Assembly Earl wanted me to highlight his response to what's going on with the Anything But Big Beautiful bill and situation with ICE. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he's calling for a special session with Governor Hochul to try to come up with a response to what's happening in the city and the consequences of these budget cuts, which are going to be severe for things like health care and response to climate change and SNAP benefits for people. The Assembly member had a press conference at Federal Plaza where he called on Governor Hochul to have Con Edison turn off the power to the ICE facility there. And he's calling on you to contact Governor Hochul and ask her to do whatever she can to kind of mitigate what's going on a federal level. So hopefully I have some of these that are going out to the Assembly members' constituents. But if you're not one of his constituents, you can look on his website and see what he's recommending and what he's doing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So next up, we have Carol Ann Church, followed by Nancy Lulu.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Carol Ann Church, Director of Community Boards, under the leadership of our Brooklyn Borough President, Antonio Reynoso. And it's taken me a while to get here, but I'm here. I agree with Assemblymember Yeager that this is one of the best boards in Brooklyn. You have great leadership, and I know that that is powered by your dedication as members. I just have a couple of announcements for you. We have a few public events coming up. More details are in the flyers that are on the table. But if you are an artist or you know anyone who's an artist, we are looking for the next official Brooklyn pin. Deadline for that is September 30th at 11:59 p.m. There's going to be a Luther Vandross tribute concert and movie night this coming Friday, September 12th, at the Raymond Bush Playground. It's over the other side of Brooklyn. That's in Bed-Stuy. Live performances begin at 6:30 p.m., and then there's a documentary at 8:45 on the life of Mr. Vandross. And for those who love R&B, really, jump on the 49 bus. It'll take you almost all the way there. And it's a great excuse to get over that side of Brooklyn. And this coming Sunday, New York Fashion Week, one of their bookend events is going to be at Brooklyn Borough Hall. Some young emerging Brooklyn designers will be showcasing their work. Check our website for details, and all are invited. You don't need to RSVP. Just a couple of things, board members. Coming up, if you're a new or reappointed member, the swearing in and orientation is coming up next Thursday. The reception begins at 5:30 p.m. and the swearing in is going to happen just about 6:30 p.m. If you're joining us virtually, the virtual room will open at about 6, but folks won't start entering the space until about 6:15. So just log in early, because, you know, technology is always surprising us. I promise that if you've done it before and you show up this year, it's going to be different from what you experienced. We are making this a very, not just educational, but entertaining orientation, where you will get the information you need to be a great board member. We try to keep you out of trouble with stuff on conflicts of interest. You get basic parliamentary procedure training, and we talk about the history of community boards and the way a community board meeting should be run. But I want to tell you all this. Community board, 14 members probably don't need lessons on that. Coming up, oh yeah, if you want to attend in person, we still have a couple slots available. Space is limited. Guests are not allowed, but feel free to share the virtual link with your guest if you wanted to have one. Can I go? Okay, I'll be really, really quick. Thursday, September 30th, Community Board Member Workshop, SLA Workshop. We're getting the SLA to come out. It's been 4 years of trying, so please put it on your calendar. It's virtual, 6 p.m. They'll talk about the agency, how the agency views applications, and what the scope of the community board review is, and most importantly, how to write a recommendation that gets the community what the community wants from that. On October 23rd, guess who we're going to be having? OCM, SLA sister. Again, it's been a long way getting here. They just confirmed earlier today. So Office of Cannabis Management, again, they'll be doing the same thing, telling us what the agency is looking for from the community board reviews and how we can write the recommendations. And also the scope. It's really important that we stick within the scope that they're asking when we create recommendations. And in November, I don't have a date yet, we're likely going to be having the Independent Budget Office. So that's the lineup for the next 3 community board member workshops. Please put them on your calendar. They're not really mandatory, but we strongly encourage you to attend because that's the information that's going to help you be a better board member. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. So next up, we have Nancy Lulu, followed by Noam Abrams.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had a great summer. I bring greetings on behalf of DA Gonzalez to everyone. The DA's office has been very active and busy, not just with prosecuting cases, but the DA himself and the team has been out throughout Brooklyn, holding and participating in community events. It's always great to be out there. I also would like to say that the DA's office is committed to protecting our Brooklyn communities. DA Gonzalez firmly believes that public safety is a shared commitment and a shared responsibility. So on that note, I'm going to be brief. I want to conclude with sharing our Action Center's phone number. If there's anything you would like to address with the DA's office and is within our purview, feel free to call 718-250-2340. And if it's not within our purview, then they'll recommend which entity to reach out to and who could possibly assist with your matter. And I want to conclude with thanking Community Board 14. It's great to be here and looking forward to working with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy. So next up, we have Noam Abrams, followed by Portia Edwards.
Hi, everybody. My name is Noam Abrahams. I am the Communications Director for the Office of State Senator Sam Sutton. You heard a bit from Assemblymember Yeager earlier about all the musical chairs that the elected officials played this past April and May. So Senator Sutton was recently elected right at the end of May, and then they packed him up to Albany for the last 2 weeks of session before there was time to hire any staff. So this is our first community board meeting now that we're 99% staffed up. So we're here to address any of the issues you guys have in your community. You can reach us. It's the same address and number as now Councilman Felder's office, which is 718-253-2015. We're still working on getting our events set up, so I can't shout them out quite yet. But if you have anything you want us to come to, feel free to email us or call us. You can reach us at the number or at sutton@nysenate.gov. If it's something positive, you can email it to me directly, so I can shout it out in the staff meeting and look better at my job. Right, that's my last name, Abrahams, @nysenate.gov. And yeah, we're just here to help you with anything you guys need help with. Please feel free to reach out whenever you run into an issue or if you have something to celebrate.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Noam. And apologies for getting your last name wrong. So it's Abrahams. All right, got it. Thank you. Appreciate that. So next up, we have Portia Edwards, followed by Marie Antoine Pierre.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Portia Edwards. I'm the District Director for State Senator Zelna Murray. I hope you had an amazing summer, because I definitely did, and so did the office. We had a good little break in June, and then in the summertime, the Senator came back from all of his extracurricular activities, and so we're very excited that he's back in the office and was in the streets this summer doing our Senator on Your Block. This Saturday, we just held our 6th annual back-to-school fair. We partnered with SUNY Downstate this year because we were able to give $1 billion to the hospitals for it to be able to stay open. And so we're super excited about that partnership, and it went very well. We served over 400 families with backpacks and food, and so that was absolutely amazing. Upcoming events, October 21st, we'll be holding the 4th annual Central Brooklyn Job Fair at the Central Grand Army Plaza Library with a couple of other elected officials' offices, Mary Series' office, and a bunch other. So just want you guys to look out for that. It's going to be on October 21st at the Brooklyn Public Library on Grand Army Plaza. Happy New Year, happy Rosh Hashanah. The office is located at 1077 Nostrand Avenue. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can call us at 718-284-4700, or you can always email me at pedwards.nysenate@gmail.com. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Portia. So next up, we have Marie Antoine, and then Jay Taubman.
And while Marie's going up there, just a quick reminder, on the Community Board 14 website, you can find all of the elected officials, you can look at the map, you can see who represents which part of the district, and get their contact information directly off our website as well.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I hope you all had an amazing summer. My name is Marie-Antoine Pierre, and I am the founder for Carmel's Depression and Anxiety Wellness Foundation, CDOR for short. And excuse me, I just wanted to come out and say thank you to everyone who sponsored our event. It was an amazing event. Shout out to Ms. Bramble and Jay at the Brooklyn Public Library who partnered with us. And I want to say thank you to Deborah, Yvette, and some of the board members who attended. Thank you, Sean, for your sponsorship. And also thank you for Deputy Borough President. She did, brought blessings and greetings, for our opening. And, it's such an amazing program, much needed. It was well appreciated, well attended. And we're hoping, a lot of, actually the local community businesses did, sponsor us again this year. It was well attended, and we're looking forward to continued partnership. Remember, mental health is very important, just as your physical health. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for that update, Marie-Antoine Pierre. I really appreciate that. So next up, we have Jay Talman, followed by Ellie Slavin.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome and greetings from Brooklyn Public Library, from the Cortelyou branch. I am going to bring some highlights about the general library and then about our branch. Back to school at Brooklyn Public Library. Kids can receive online tutoring at home. This free service through BrainFuse Tutoring, which is an online tutoring service, provides tutoring in math, reading, writing, and science from 2 to 11 p.m. every day. All you need is a library card. In-person after-school programs, craft programs, teen times, movies, and more. Visit your local library for our online calendar of events to see the full range of after-school programs near you. Teen internship applications now open. Brooklyn Public Library is now recruiting teens for internships and other paid opportunities. Teens can earn a stipend and receive volunteer service hours and resume building experience at programs that teach about tech, early childhood literacy, library careers, books and publishing, and more. Find out more on our website or at your local neighborhood branch. Promoting voter registration. Brooklyn Public Library is an official partner of National Voter Registration Day, which is September 16th. Every BPL branch has voter registration forms, often available in many different languages. Now for local updates. Our branch has successfully concluded, Cortelyou has successfully concluded the Carmel's Depression and Anxiety Wellness Foundation series of workshops. This year we highlighted employment and how people can deal with depression and anxiety, and we had a very successful 6 workshops this summer. Also want to mention that we are having a knit and crocheting group every Wednesday from 2 to 4. We are also having a computer adult class every Thursday from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And last but not least, we are having the start of a new session of We Speak NYC English language classes starting Wednesday, October 1st. They will be from 11 to 1 every Wednesday for about 10 weeks, except for Wednesday, October 29th, when we will skip it. And I also want to wish those who are celebrating a happy Rosh Hashanah or a happy New Year, a happy Molad Nabi, and also happy Hispanic Heritage Month to those who are celebrating that as well. And I want to wish everyone a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Jay. Thank you so much for that. So next up, we have Ellie Slavin, followed by Taisha Allen.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ellie Slavin. I represent Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. So we're located at 222 Lennox Road between Rogers and Nostrand. Our number is 718-287-1142. There's a website we have that has a lot of information. I don't like to keep you here late at night. It's clark.house.gov. I'm sorry, clark.house.net. We have there, I'm going to correct myself again for the third time. It's clark.house.gov. All the activities that the Congresswoman is doing in D.C. is on that website, and all the letters, all the laws that she's sponsoring, co-sponsoring are there. Now, we have two satellite offices for those who cannot come out to our office on Lennox Road. So every first and third Wednesday, I'm at the Kojo of Flatbush, which is at 1523 Avenue M. Their number is 718-377-2900, so you can make an appointment to see me if you have federal issues. I have flyers on the table. Every second and fourth Wednesday, I'm at Assemblyman Eichenstein's office, which is 1310 48th Street. His number is 718-853-9616. Many of our constituents have taken advantage and do see me there. We had a very busy summer with passports, emergency passports, and thank God we were very successful. Many people who found themselves traveling with passports that were not valid or didn't have the 6 months validation on it reached out to us, and we do have an in with the New York City Passport Center in Lower Manhattan at Hudson Street, and thank God we were really, I would say 99.99% successful. Also, of course, understanding we are very, very busy with immigration, assisting people, guiding them with their visas, those who have to travel or are in the midst of getting green cards. I just want to mention quickly 2 events that the Congresswoman is co-sponsoring. One is called the 2025 Hackathon, which is how to code and how to build an app. That's for middle and high school students. The Congresswoman will be there to give remarks. That will be taking place at the Major Owens Health Wellness Community Center, 1561 Bedford Avenue. Again, I have flyers on the table. That'll be Saturday, October 4th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You need to register, and as I said, there are flyers on the table. The other initiative that she is co-sponsoring is called Congressional App Challenge. And that's, again, for middle and high school students. Winners will be invited to the Capitol to present their apps. The submission due date is Thursday, October 30th. You need to register, and again, I really reiterate, you do have flyers on the table. I want to wish everybody happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating, Rosh Hashanah, the Spanish, what is that called? I missed it. Hispanic Heritage Month, and I apologize for that. And those who are celebrating Mawlid, so happy, healthy, and let's just wish peace on earth, health and wealth, and time to enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Really appreciate that. So next up, we have Taisha Allen, followed by Rogine Ford.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Hope everyone's summer was warm enough and that you enjoyed a happy Labor Day along with other electeds. Assemblymember Rodney Bishop Hermelin walked with her district as we recognize and honor the social and economic contributions of our workers in the labor movement. Happy high holidays to everyone who's observing Mawlid, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur to come. Also, the Assembly member, she sends her greetings and well wishes to our students on the start of a new school year. We had a successful back-to-school event this summer at PS 152 Courtyard with great food, games, and prizes, rock climbing, Mr. Softy Truck, and sharing valuable resources from our community partners, ensuring our children are prepared and starting this new school year strong. In addition to that, we did co-host a second back-to-school in partnership with Plaza Audemars and Councilmember Farrah Lewis' office, along with other electeds, and together with both events, we were able to distribute 1,000 free backpacks with school supplies. As we know, September will soon be over before we know it. So in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, although that is October, we will be hosting a free breast cancer screening event on Wednesday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., encouraging women over 40 to secure their spot by registering with the QR code. There are flyers in the back. Although we are requesting registration walk-ins, and those who do not have insurance, you are more than welcome to stop by. This event will be hosted at our office at 1312 Flatbush Avenue between Forster and East 26th Street. Those are the announcements I do have this evening. Happy to be back. Look forward to a good year.
Thank you, Ms. Taisha. So last but not least, we have Rosine Ford.
Hello, good evening. I just wanted to announce on behalf of FDC their upcoming gala in Prospect Park. It's going to be on Thursday, October 23rd. They're celebrating 50 years. And from what I've heard, I'm not involved, but I figured someone should really mention it because they have a fantastic event shaping up with live music, local food and drink, storytelling, community spirit. It's 6 p.m. through 10 p.m. It's at the Picnic House. And please consider attending, getting friends together, getting a table, or donating in kind if you're able to. And more info for that is on the FDC. FDC is, of course, Flatbush Development Corporation, and they're celebrating 50 years. I hope you'll attend. I plan to. And then on something I actually can speak about on behalf of the Ditmas Park West Neighborhood Association, we just want to invite everyone to a Saturday, September 20th Street Tree Care event in Ditmas Park West at 10 a.m. At 504 Marlborough Road. We're going to be learning about street trees and caring for them, mulching, etc. So this is put on by Big Reuse and supported by Councilmember Rita Joseph. So please come to celebrate, honor, and learn to be a responsible neighbor of the street trees that we all live among and under. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So that concludes the public comment period. And so do I have a motion to adjourn? All right, then. And so, I mean, we can go all the way down to 37. All right. So we are adjourned at 8:36 p.m. Oh, Barton, I have something for you real quick. Hold